All right, so we now move on to the final session today, which is a crypto talks hosted by SEGEV LLP, host who will arrive any minute now. But in the meantime, I already have his guest over here, Justin Hartzman. Hi, Justin. I think since we are already live and we were live all along, and this is what happens when earlier sessions finish suddenly, maybe you would like to start off with a short introduction about yourself and what you do until Ron gets here.
Sure. Yeah, well, first of all, hope you can hear me, everyone, and thanks for having me on. So I'm Justin Hartzman. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Coinsmart.com, and we're the only fully regulated national-wide here in Canada and across Europe crypto asset trading platform that's publicly traded in the world, not only here in Canada, but also in Germany. So I have a lot of conversations like this and talking in the gaming industry to see how we can fit in crypto into the ever-changing world of online gaming, and it's something that we've played a role in for many years. We continue to move forward on that, so I think we'll talk a lot about those pieces coming up here when we get Ron on the call here today.
Exactly. Yeah. In the meantime, I might have some couple of questions for you in regards to how do you see this, because crypto and gambling go together really well. And started a couple of years ago when the first online casinos were launched that were accepting only cryptocurrencies. Those are still going strong nowadays, and many new ventures appear. And what do you think that over the time has been the biggest driver in terms of crypto adoption? Because there are still many people, not just players, I mean, crypto investors or people looking at cryptocurrencies who still have a bad eye on crypto generally.
Yeah, I hear you, and I think it's just a lot of people are set in their ways, and it's taking so long to set up the structures which are appropriate, gone through all the hoops of getting rails in place that make sense for them and structures that make sense for them across the board. So when you talk about a new way of processing and bringing in dollars, it's always a scary proposition when they've spent a lot of time and energy to accomplish what they have to that point. But what we'll talk about coming up is either you get on the train or you get off the train. There's only reasons why. There isn't any negative reasons to use crypto in this sense, because that's where the world's going. And how do we do it in the most safe and market neutral way is a lot what Ron and I will talk about when we come up here shortly, which I see he's just jumped on here. So hey Ron, how are you?
Hey guys, sorry, I hope I'm not late.
No, you're not late. The earlier panel finished a bit, it was a bit shorter than anticipated, so I had a couple of questions for Justin, and I'm so happy you're here because that was my only two questions I had.
Perfect timing.
All right, so I'll leave it to you, and it's nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you too. So let's just jump into our session. Zoltan, thanks for inviting us back. This is Crypto Catch-Up with SEGEV LLP. For those of you that don't know SEGEV LLP or yours truly, just a quick introduction. We are a full solutions business law firm with a focus on technology, in particular interactive entertainment, and the entire ecosystem from video gaming, gaming and betting, and of course, crypto. We do a lot of work in crypto. We've been in the space since 2012, helping clients navigate through it. Everything from working with token projects, brokerages, wallets, exchanges, now working on a lot of NFT projects and a lot of blockchain gaming projects and the like. Justin Hartzman is the CEO of Coinsmart. They are a publicly traded company on the Neo Exchange here in Canada. Very well respected cryptocurrency trading platform where you can buy and sell Bitcoin and other digital currencies. They offer a retail and a B2B solution through their enterprise solution called SmartPay. And very exciting, they're also rolling out an enterprise NFT marketplace solution Justin, thanks so much for joining us here on the call.
Well, thanks for having me, Ron. I know it's my pleasure to be here and I'll shed some light in this industry where I think that we have a big downhill momentum pushing us forward here to new heights. So I'm excited to talk about that with you today.
Great. I know I got that intro right, but if there's anything else that you want to add, please feel free.
No, I think you hit it. I hit it on the board, and I think what's important. I think the one thing to add is not only are we a publicly traded company and well respected, which I appreciate that, we are fully regulatory compliant, and that is the underlying aspect of everything that we do at our business. And while it may have stammered growth over the years by not being able to take any customer anywhere and offering any product, we really believe that's what will allow us to have the best foundation to grow into the future and service people in all industries in the best way possible across the board. So regulation is super key.
Good, yeah, and we'll get into a little bit of that here. So we got, it's kind of like a fireside chat format with some Q&A, and let's just jump in. So, my first question here is, as I mentioned, we work with a lot of gaming companies, especially on the B2C operator side, and many of them don't take crypto. And I find that to be curious, and I'll ask them, why don't you accept it? And they say, oh, we just don't need to. So, for opening question is, why should a gaming company adopt crypto processing as part of their processing solution? Why is it something that they need?
Yeah, well, I think that the answer, if we don't need to, might be short-sighted, especially as things are changing in the industry quite rapidly. The reality is you might be running a really great business, a great clientele, and happy with what's going on, but you are cutting off a very large segment of the market who would prefer not to integrate their banking rails into, sending money into different places, or their banking rails don't allow for that. So crypto is something that allows us to move, our money the way that we want to in a more free basis, in a decentralized manner, in larger sums, with less cost, with less hurdles, and so many other great aspects that I think that, and I think this is something we might talk about a little more upcoming, but what we've seen over the years is it gone from 10% of people using crypto in the gaming space to 20. We're now at like the 40 to 50% range, and some of the companies have really pushed into this space here. And we see it slowly flipping where fiat rails and other ways of taking payment are no longer the predominant method, and crypto is really the way of the future. And I think we're here to support that by creating tools and creating gateways that allow this to be a very simple, easy process, reducing so many of the friction points that your customers may have today.
So you're saying that some of your operator customers are seeing crypto processing account for up to 50% of volumes. Is that what I heard?
Absolutely. And I would say, and this is anecdotally, I can't give you real stats on this, but I believe that the largest transactional volume of cryptocurrency in general is going through gaming operators worldwide. Right now, those are the people who have the most, they're processing the most of it, and they're doing it in a very safe manner. And it's not something that we do we only work with regulated gaming companies. We're in the proper jurisdictions, and we make sure we take that regulation into aspect very keenly. But there's a huge market out there, and I think you'd be shooting yourself in the foot a little bit if you didn't take that on as at least part of your future planning, if not immediately today.
So again, just going back to our client base, when we have the crypto discussion with them, I could see there's some hesitation because there's, I guess some, let's say technical hesitancy, right? They think that they need a crypto expert on hand. They need someone to figure out cold storage solutions. They, risk management, trading management. They just think that I need a crypto department. So the question is, is that true? What do you need to get this set up? What about security, things like dual keys and how, managing your crypto portfolio and all of that stuff. So if I came to you and said, hey, I'm interested, I want it to be seamless, frictionless, what's the bare minimum I need to do to set up?
Yeah, so I think it can get quite complicated, like you're saying. There's a lot of aspects to that if you want to go that way. And there's a lot of sophisticated shops out there who are using It's not only take in, but as investment opportunities, hedging against risk, all that sort of stuff, where you have a treasury management specifically for crypto. And that's when you're really into it and it's getting really advanced on that side. But you don't need to start there, that's for sure. If you come to a company like ours, and there's others out there, we provide API services where you just simply, with your tech team, integrate, and we do everything for you on the other side. And I'll talk a little bit about how that product works, if you don't mind, Ron, if you want me to go into that now. But the idea is someone comes to your site, they want to deposit 1,000 euros, $1,000, whatever it may be. At that point, Canadian dollars, at that point, they can choose credit card, they can choose crypto. When they choose crypto, what we have come up is a very easy screen. And right in front of them, there's a QR code that says you need to send X amount to this address, and you have a 5-minute period to do that. We're really giving them the opportunity. So they can go in, they can send $1, they can send 100,000, send 100 million, whatever they choose. We give them the quote, they send it to us, we recognize it instantly. We send back a message to you saying the money's in, credit their account. This is all with a matter of 3 to 5 calls on the other side. And now that player is ready to go. They've sent their money in a seamless fashion from their mobile phone, from their computer, wherever they are, whenever they need to be, without getting a bank involved, which is really an excellent piece. But further to that, it's what do we do on the opposite side for you as a company is we're reducing a few things which are important. A, your cost. We can bring that down significantly. Credit card processing and other fees are quite high. Reduce the amount of risk, reduce the amount of chargebacks, because those don't exist. Fraud and risk don't, and chargebacks don't exist in this place. And market risk we can get rid of for you. So at the same time, you can choose, you can keep it in crypto and then manage it as you wish if you wanted to. Or you can say, I want 100%, 90%, 10% sold directly on receiving. So if you're supposed to receive $1,000, you're getting that $1,000 at that point, and then we wire out the money to you on a schedule that you choose. So really, we reduce so many friction points that are caused by other traditional rails, which is high cost and high fees, fraud, as well as chargeback risk, and then no market risk for the crypto. So I think that's what makes it such an ideal product for the space, and something that you're seeing take over quite significantly.
What about the technical infrastructure? If I'm an operator, do I need to build out a technical infrastructure? How does that work?
No. So at the end of the day, we are working with a bunch of different companies that most people work with anyways on the processing side. So now you're able to choose one or the other, and it's all done for you in the background. So there's nothing for you. But we also have a lot of clients who want to integrate it natively into their platform. Also reduces costs and other pieces. But this is a technical piece that is not changing the world. It's something that any group of developers can go in with a very easy API to integrate at no risk. Again, which is important. It's very clear, it's secure, and we take care of all the other pieces on the back end. So really, it's just the user interface on your side to actually show them what they're supposed to send in, and then we give you that data back. So technically, it's not very difficult at all. We've had no issues with anybody getting that done in 24 to 3-day period when they're ready to do so.
And what about let's say I'm one of those operators that's seeing 50% of my volume being in crypto, and I want to engage in some treasury management solution where I'm sitting on coin, but I want to do it in a secure fashion, and I don't want the headache of hiring someone to manage it. What are the solutions there?
Well, that's, with us, and it's done in different ways. And again, there's a lot of sophisticated shops in which they want to manage that themselves and decide how they hedge it out. But for us, we just offer a handheld OTC concierge service where, you talk to us, you tell us what your needs are, what it is that you're looking to do, and we can help manage those and trade on your behalf for you. So this is a conversation that we would have with, upwards of CFOs, but other than that, treasury departments, and it depends on what your needs are. We are noticing that the majority of clients that we've had or they're coming into the space, as legal gaming is coming here into Ontario, Wyoming, in the US. We're talking to all these companies who we can actually work with, which is very important. They're not interested in holding it per se. They want to use it for ease of use, whether it's pay-ins or payouts. But they just want it right to fiat and deliver to where they need to do, or based on regulatory. I'll use Wyoming for example, or sorry, Ontario for example. everything's going through the AGCO. So how does it get to them? They take their piece and send it back off to the operator. So we can work with them to achieve the goals that they need to based on the regulation where they are, and it's something that we keep up with very regularly.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and it makes sense. And we as a firm, we accept crypto, and it goes to fiat because, you know, you can't pay the bills with crypto, not yet.
Hopefully soon. So, that's what we're working hard towards.
Good, yeah. So let's talk about some of the risks or the perceived risks here. So does a company that accepts crypto put its traditional banking relationships at stake? And what we've seen is, at least in Canada, is that the banks aren't crazy about working with crypto companies. What's your experience there?
Well, I think that is true. It has been true in the past. I think we see this ever changing. You know, the fact that companies like ours and others out there are being registered through the Ontario Securities Commission and the CSA here across Canada, recognize that we are a reputable company and that we are publicly traded. So we use a lot of that as the clout to ensure that we have the proper banking rails to deliver those funds. We also, you know, use banks all around the world that are conducive to the type of clients in which we're working with, whether it's a European client, whether it's a legal operator, whether it's you know, an e-commerce store. So we just make sure that we have the rails in place to do that. And it's all about ensuring that we know our client well, we've done the compliance that we need to do. And sometimes that's just a conversation with our banking partner saying, hey guys, this is who we're doing with, here's what's going on. We're going to be transferring funds. Let's talk about that beforehand, so there isn't a risk down the road. And we've been very successful in doing that up until this point. We'll continue to, because of the relationships that we are building with them. And at the end of the day, we are not some little shop that's doing something nefarious somewhere that gives, you know, this whole community a black eye. We're trying to do the exact opposite. How do we be very visible? How are we out there for creating trust and transparency and dealing with the right actors out there so that we can have the freedom to move the capital where we need to and not cause banking issues, which we know is obviously a huge aspect, even for us in the crypto business. I want to make that clear. This is not a thing that's not coming off on me. I get it. You know, before we even started this company 4 or 5 years ago, to get a bank account, it took me 9 months to even try to find a bank that would do that. So we're here to work with you. And I think that there is no longer some risk in those cases, as long as you're working with a reputable outfit that has the right pieces in place.
And speaking of some of these possible risks, what about compliance with KYC and AML? You know, a lot of these operators are licensed with gaming regulators. The KYC and AML compliance requirements are obviously very serious. The license hinges on it. And there is a perceived issue with crypto and KYC AML. What's your experience with that?
Well, you know, with us, KYC AML is paramount to everything that we do. We can't open an account. We can't take $1 without it. It's audited through the regulators on a regular basis. So we take that very seriously. But the benefit that we have in this scenario is we are facing off against the legal operator in the space. So we KYC with them and they're our client. The end user is not. And I think this is a thing that we're only learning about more as regulation comes into place, you know, here in Canada and in the US and more places and across the world. So it's a wait and see game. But the whole idea is we only want to work with and we'll provide KYC in both directions with someone who's willing to do so where it's need be. So we're all about that for sure.
So what I understand then is that your KYC and AML is directly with the operator, and you're going to rely on their KYC and AML processes with respect to depositing customers with the operator. And so if you've got an operator customer who wants to deposit with crypto, they're going to have to run through the operator's standard KYC. Okay, AML, got it.
Yep. Yeah, so they're still a client of theirs. They take that. The agreement that we have is in a situation where it's needed. We need to get that KYC information. That KYC information is shared. You know, that's part of the travel rule that we're looking at. That's international for crypto and other places to share the wallet information from one destination to the other. That's all AML right there. That's exactly what that is. So we have that relationship where on an as needed basis, and again, this changes. Before we didn't, now it's as needed. In the future, it might be every client needs to be passed through to us. But it's just about keeping up with the times, understanding the aspects, and all working towards the same thing, which is a safe, regulated environment, which I think we're all looking to do, whether on the crypto processing side or on the gaming side of things.
You know, we've spoken with some gaming regulators in the past who have expressed some concern with respect to origin of proceeds. So in particular, they have some concerns, and I don't know that it's fatal to the transaction, but they have some concerns that it's difficult to trace origin of funds when it's coming from crypto. And we know that there's some solutions out there like Chainalysis and similar solutions that will flag wallets that have traditionally been linked with some nefarious activity and that sort of stuff. You have any experience working with those tools to provide operators with added peace of mind?
Yes, it's something that we do in every transaction, goes through multiple softwares in which we do that. The idea is we need to block transactions that are coming from nefarious sources, whether it's the dark web or something that even worse happens out there, TF or terrorist financing. So everything that we do in every transaction, that's watched for, and that's something that we do share back. We're seeing that a lot of the cryptos coming in is not good, is not clean. What we do is we ask them to, either we have to stop working with that client, or they have to stop working with that specific person that comes and that does that. But it's an aggregate amount. We're looking at to make sure that the majority is, there's always the opportunity where there's small little pieces that may have hit one of those characteristics that we don't like when looking at it. But it has to be very much reduced, and we have to understand where it's coming from on the other side. And we will block transactions right from the beginning if there is something that we are concerned about, because again, regulatory first on everything that we handle. And I think this is where we're also helpful on the other side for the gaming operators, that we can stop a transaction that they might get in trouble for later on time, right at the source of it, because we have these software in place that we look at how the transaction happened, where it came from, all the hops that were behind it. We have tons of different market surveillance software that does exactly that.
You're doing the operator a service by keeping an eye on it on a transaction by transaction basis. Well, you and I will take a sidebar. I'd like to learn more about that software. That's interesting stuff.
Absolutely.
Let's chat about NFTs. Obviously, it's a space that's blowing up. Everyone's talking about it. Our firm's working on multiple NFT projects right now. How's Coinsmart involved? What have you been working on?
Well, I can't say much yet. We have some good announcements that are coming up, but I think the reality is what we've seen a significant need across the board, whether it's for sports organizations, gaming companies, traditional businesses and retailers out there. Everyone's looking to become part of this NFT or metaverse situation. So we've really identified a need where, everyone shouldn't be doing this on a one-off for them. It's a lot of expense. It's finding the technical talent to achieve that is very difficult in the first place. So what we're looking to bring to the market in a very short order is not only software that's easy integrated into your platform where you can do this for yourself, in a white label scenario, but the consulting services in the background that will allow you to achieve that, how to get it to market, how to actually market it, some ideas and what would be interesting for your community to bring in. And I think that's an important piece of this is, everyone's looking at the end of the day, how do you get money in? How do people play? How do we make money? But really, how do we make money is how do we make a more robust customer for someone who has multiple ways of engaging with the platform. And if we can use the NFT situation where now they're becoming an ingrained evangelist in what you're doing, I think that is the ultimate what you're looking for. You're coming back, they're spending more money, they're sharing with other people. There's a secondary market that's created for this out there. And that's the marketing engine that's going to help drive these. And those are the characteristics and the keywords that allow you to stand out. I'll just use for an example, maybe it's not a great one here, but DraftKings opened up their NFT platform mid 2021. And it's a huge revenue producer for now. They can't keep them when they do a drop for some new athlete on their platform. They're sold out instantly. They go up in value by double within minutes, and the ecosystem keeps going around and around in those. And how can you then in the future take it from not only a collectible scenario and a revenue generator, but use it for actual, play to earn games that you can integrate into your platform. So how does that monkey that you've created, there's a great project out there that has, it's in the soccer field, and you have an NFT, and as you play, they actually gain more attributes. As you're gaining more attributes, is becoming a better player in the game and more valuable at the same time. So there's a long way that we can go from simply being a collectibles marketplace within your environment and help you to achieve that, all the way to the other side of how do we integrate that into some of the live action PvE stuff that we can bring to your actual marketplace for your customers to have more advanced options to do things with. So it's an ever-changing industry. Our offering is something that's in the works, but we're working with some really cool players right now to get it out there into the wild. And I think we'll be able to help a lot of others in the future achieve that over the next 12 months. So excited to see where we go there.
Yeah, that project you were alluding to is CyberKongs, where if you hold a Kong, you get a drop of 10 bananas a day. And it remains to be seen what you can do with those bananas just yet, other within the ecosystem. But lots of cool stuff you can do with NFTs for sure. I recently attended a Facebook Meta GameSpeak conference, and they had a poll that they shared showing that 70% of conference attendees believe that all gaming companies will have an NFT strategy by 2023. Are you seeing that kind of feedback from your customer base? Like people are coming to you saying, we need an NFT strategy. How can you help us?
Yeah, I was just in, I think we were there together in Malta at the Sigma conference, and I sat down with numerous amounts of people who are just going, I'm a consultant too. We do the strategies across X, Y, and Z. How can you be helpful for us in the NFT space? Because we all want it, we all need it, but we don't know where to start. And I think that really gave us the kickstart to go, how can we provide not only treasury management, crypto processing, but an NFT build out into the future. So this is something that's evolutionary. We're still working on it to bring it to market in a way that makes sense for everybody. But I think it's going to be something that you need to be thinking about, engaging with, and figuring out over the next 12 months, at least what your strategy into the future is if you're not there today, as we see some of the big guys out there doing it now, and it's very profitable. That's the other thing. This is something that people are, they don't even imagine that they're going to, 10% of their product mix is going to be coming from a new stream they've never thought about before to grow their company. That's an interesting piece, and you don't want to be missing that. And I think the point though to all this is it's ever changing. And what it looks like today and what it's going to look like in 6 months might not be the same thing. So where and who do you get involved with early on in the process to evolve with and use to actually achieve the goals that you're looking to seek into the future?
Yeah. One thing I'll caution the crowd listening in on our discussion is that there is a misconception among many of our clients coming to us that NFTs are, they're non-fungible tokens. There's no securities issues around them, and I could drop a 10K series of cyber or whatever you want and sell them, and there's no issues. But increasingly, we're seeing NFTs with some functionality and some attributes that make them securities. And so I'll just caution our viewers here and our listeners here that they need to take a close look at that. It's
a good point. Anything that involves the remittance of dollars, if it's something that you're using NFT to send to some money to someone else or transfer, that's somewhere that becomes security right off the bat. It's a very good point that you're making. I think today, and it's interesting, we're starting in one spot, but I think what's interesting into the future is the fractionalization of real world items past just, collectibles that are purchased. If you want to get together with a group, and this is sort of off topic, but if you want to get together with a group or you want to buy that $10 million piece of real estate, but it's not something that you can finance yourself and traditional methods out there, or go to banks and go through all that process. Well, why can't we just fractionalize that at moment one, raise the money within 30 seconds from the community? All those people who invest in the project are owners in it, and you own that specific piece and the rights to it and the move forward plan. So there's a lot of real world things that will come out of this into the future, especially in real estate. Fractionalization of sports teams, when they get refinanced, sports players, memorabilia, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And that, that's actually, it is to my mind on topic, because what you just described was a security. So, we just have to be mindful of things like, are you engaged in a common enterprise? Is there, or is there an expectation of profit, and, all that good stuff. I'm going to ask you the sort of the classic closing crystal ball question. So, where are we heading with crypto? Where are we heading with NFTs? And I'm going to use the M word. What about the metaverse? Sort of so it's going to be the word of 2022. I'm happy that vaccine and COVID has been retired as the word of 2021. Let's talk about the metaverse. What are you seeing from your ecosystem, your customer network, et cetera?
Yeah, so I think blatantly, and if everyone's seen me in the past speak, we're still in the first half of the first inning. We might be getting to the second half of the first inning right now. Crypto is only beginning. The adoption of it across every industry is just going rampant right now. And either you get on the train or you be left behind is where I see it. And there's a lot of pieces that are involved in it, whether you're talking about NFTs, and we talked a little bit where I think they're going a moment ago, or Metaverse, that all revolves around the fact that people need to get on and off ramped somewhere, and have the ability to spend it where they want to be doing it. So I think that the idea is, people who are out engaging in it now, you need to be making this part of your operations to gain those new customers coming in. But not only that, servicing new customers, servicing old customers who want to move larger amounts of money or faster traditional rails that are bothersome, but also new opportunities for you to evolve into NFTs and Metasphere, where you can go and have this whole new set of games and pieces that you can offer to your clientele that others aren't doing today. So it's not a wait and see. It's where do you want to invest in? What is it that's important to you? What are your plans for your company and where you're growing with them? And how can we find the right people to help us get there? Doing it on your own, I don't necessarily say so. That's a hard thing. There's not enough developers in the world right now with the expertise to do that. Find the right resources, and there's lots of them out there. There's great projects that exist, white label products that are out there, labs that help you do this, and eventually us, when that product gets to the market, go find the people that you can work with, build a plan, and then work that plan. I think is necessary, because if not, you will be left behind.
I totally agree. I mean, just looking at our ecosystem of clients and friends of the firm, if you're engaged in interactive entertainment, you're going to need a crypto strategy.
Yep.
And an NFT is a type of cryptocurrency. It's a token. It's a non-fungible token, but it's a token.
Right. And I don't know any of the major players out there. And again, I'm not well versed in everyone that exists who isn't doing that today. So if you are, someone who's up and coming or looking to grow and achieve some of those things, this is certainly a place that you can step up and step out. You're more agile than them. Is it time to actually bring that in and figure out your strategy? Yeah. I think that's right.
Yeah. And, I heard the metaverse described by the head of the Meta project at Facebook, again, at this conference I attended yesterday, as being a space where people are, quote unquote, co-present. And the real focus is, what are people going to be doing in this space, right? It's not, will this space exist? Well, the space already exists, but so what are they going to be doing? And there's this notion of, the acronym is MILE, I forget what it refers to, but essentially a massive live event, a massive interactive live event. Sorry, drew a blank. So things like we saw that Travis Scott concert on the Fortnite platform. So they're going to be involved in experiential activities, but also playing games. And that's like fundamentally a human endeavor. Of course, we're going to be doing that in the metaverse. And we're going to need some sort of transaction currency, and crypto is it. We're going to need some sort of incentivization currency. We're going to need some sort of way to handle
buy real
assets.
estate. You have the condo, on top of the casino,
yeah.
that exists.
Yeah,
as a project that I was just asked to be part of, not be part of, but invest in. And they're building their own metaverse, and they're taking the approach of there needs to be one for more adults. This is not specifically for everybody in the world. So the first properties that they were selling off were the penthouse on top of the casinos, the beautiful condos on top of Dubai, and these are places where you would have, they actually had casinos in the condos. They had art galleries where you can put up your NFT pieces, and those are the environments of where do you want to live, and do your customers want to be part of that as that's changing. It's hard to think about. I get it, I understand it very well, I live it, but I'm not necessarily the guy as well to go in and log on to my computer and go talk to friends on the metaverse. But so many people are, so it's and you should be there. And the whole point is, what does that strategy look like?
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to say that it's not being engaged on a metaverse platform or in the metaverse is not far off from Xbox Connect, where you're playing online with your friends. It's just a richer environment with a lot more capability. Anyway, Justin, really appreciate your time. Great to learn about Coinsmart and some of the intel that you're seeing in the market with respect to crypto broadly and NFTs specifically. I don't know if we have time for any Q&As, but I'll hand it over to Zoltan.
Thank you, Ron, Justin. Yeah, I don't think there are any questions from YouTube or from our Zoom meeting. So thank you so much for this insightful session. And thank you everyone for joining us today. This has been our first virtual meetup in 2022. There are many more to come. In the meantime, you can also subscribe to the Hipster Talks podcast we've launched this year. And we will be back on February 15th for the European quarterly meetup. And we'll be coming back in March with the tech conferences, 8th March International Women's Day initiative, and on the 19th of April, we will be back with Gaming America's quarterly meetup, Q2 meetup. So thanks everyone for joining us. It's been a pleasure to see you. Speak soon.
Thank you. Bye.